Hello, class. This is Philosophy of Death and Dying. I'm offering a screencast to just basically get us with a general idea of how to navigate through D2L to get started. Okay, so Philosophy of Death and Dying, Philosophy 220-801. Up here, you can see this envelope icon. That is where you will, we could email each other. This is what I refer to as email. D2L refers to it as internal messaging, so that might be a little confusing when I'm asking you, send me an email, or I sent an email to the class. This is what I'm indicating, okay, because this is by way of D2L, and in D2L it's called internal messaging. I call it email, okay? Then up here, this is basically our toolbar. This is where you'll find your grades, obviously. Quizzes, that's where we will have our midterm and likewise our final exams, okay? Then we'll be working with discussions and assignments, alternating depending on how we need to work the assignment or the discussion, okay? So within the discussion, we could be doing discussions, we could be doing group work, or we could just be writing things down. Don't get locked into thinking that this needs to be like a discussion outright all the time. There's different ways that we'll be working through this. And we're using it more for its communal way in which we're sharing our work and everyone could read everyone else's work. I think that's really helpful for classes. Then with the class list too, go ahead and check this. Click on class list. That's where you can email me to, and then obviously your fellow students as well. Okay, so send message, send email, etc. Right? And that's where you could email me if you need to ask questions, etc. Then let's go back to our home page. This is, so as I have said, if I didn't already say it, this is our home page again. And I have an announcement here, but I will frequently have announcements, but what we want to think is that this tab right here is the hub of the class. So this is where we're going to start out usually. So the content tab here is where we'll have the weeks laid out over here on the left. And I'm basically working a week in advance. So in other words, everything that we know about this week will be due next week and continuing that pattern as the course progresses, okay? And so here for week 1, you could see that we're going to be having to do this work before next week, which is August 24th, Monday, August 24th, okay? And there I have a hyperlink. This is how I'll be working through these. So I'll have this laid out more or less like this every week, okay? A week ahead of time. And so we click on that, and that's taking us to our announcements, okay? But let's go ahead and go back. Ooh, excuse me. Let's go back to the content tab. And notice that down here, that's where we have the syllabus, okay? And so the syllabus too has some stuff on it that I did not point out in the video. One thing is the notes on this being a remote course. So we are planning to have a class meeting, a Zoom meeting every Monday at 12 to 1:15 p.m. It might not last that long, but at least it will be starting every Monday at noon. Okay? And so remember that that's an aspect of this being a remote course, and that will be where I'm offering feedback and content, catch up, anything like that. Okay, and then points on reading that I didn't do in a video that I assigned a week ahead of time, because usually I'm delivering the content by way of a video lecture, and so our live meetings will be more having to do with feedback, that sort of thing. I won't be lecturing at that point. Okay, then just scroll down here a little bit more. There is some stuff on computer equipment failure, problems, etc., internet access, so be sure you pay attention to that. Then I have the schedule here. This schedule here is basically what I'm calling a content schedule. And so all that means is that this is where we're looking at what we'll be doing the weeks ahead of time. And I'm going to be trying to populate our other schedule in our content folder with stuff like this. But I want to be sure that I'm going to be doing it. So in other words, remember, this is tentative stuff. So this might change, okay? It might also stay the same too, but I'm not sure. But so you'll know plenty ahead of time how we're moving through our content. Then there's a note on netiquette having to do with our new online environment down here, and then some stuff on what to do with your browser. In other words, what's the accepted browser you could use that is optimal for D2L. Okay, so that's where you could find the syllabus. So again, that's in our content page right here. Okay, it's pretty clearly labeled. So then we looked at the announcement here already, and that had details on the first day. We scroll down, look at stuff on the philosophy of death and dying. And then I have a video here on me going over the syllabus. And then also I'm going to have the screencast. And right here I have working on it now, but I'm working on it as we speak. Okay. So then let's click back onto the content and look at this here, because notice that there's also a discussion hyperlink. So click on that. And here it is. So introductions and syllabus questions. So here I'm asking you to answer a few questions, right, to get us started by Monday the 24th. Okay. So the first question is having to do, make sure that you answer everything in complete sentences. Don't just bullet point your answers, please. So A, introduce yourself to the class and what brings you to this class specifically. B, how do you understand the confluence of death and philosophy? In other words, how do you see death and philosophy connecting? How are death and philosophy interrelated? Try to tackle that question. C, although I do not mention it in the video, what is the policy on computer tech problems as noted in the syllabus? Then D, what is our late work policy as noted in the syllabus? And then E, what is plagiarism? I just want you to answer that because this tends to be a problem every semester. C, will participating in a synchronous class meeting once a week on Mondays, 12 noon to 1:15 work for you? Yes or no? And then I'm making a note to myself to insert an area here where where you guys could ask me questions too if you need to. Okay, so don't hesitate to do that. And then you click on this blue tab here to start a new thread. In other words, that's what you'd click on to write your answers to this question by August 24th, 11:30 p.m. Okay, and I think that should get us through the basics of getting through D2L right off the top here. Okay, so thank you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.